President Trump issued more than 24 pardons and commutations this week, adding to his already lengthy list of pardons granted during his second term. The latest include former New York Republican Congressman Michael Grimm, who was convicted of tax fraud, and former Virginia Sheriff Scott Jenkins, who was found guilty of accepting more than $75,000 in bribes. Reality stars Todd and Julie Chrisley, who were both convicted of tax evasion and bank fraud in 2022, were also pardoned. And then there's Larry Hoover, a notorious former Chicago gang leader who is convicted of federal drug conspiracy charges. Hoover got a commutation of multiple life sentences, but still faces 200 years in prison on state murder charges, which a president cannot commute. Alexis Coe joins us now. She's a presidential historian and a senior fellow at New America. So, Alexis, most presidents, they tend to issue pardons toward the end of their term, right? Is the timing of these notable and essentially the beginning of President Trump's second term?
Yes, it is. I mean, he has been using the power of the pardon since the moment he took office. And it's highly unusual. It usually happens in what we call the midnight hours. Sometimes, as we know from former President Biden, it happens on Inauguration Day. But it's really unusual to see pardons as a rolling thing because the political backlash is moot to Trump. That's what it tells us, whereas other presidents wait until they won't pay the price for whoever they're pardoning, particularly if it is of a partisan nature. So it's really significant because what does this portend for the rest of his term?
How often have presidents pardoned high-profile members of their party?
It's not uncommon, but it doesn't quite happen in this way. So we have seen, for example, President Johnson after the Civil War pardoned, Confederate leaders, but that was more of a blanket pardon. We have, of course, famously Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon. What was unusual about that pardon wasn't just Watergate and how it's changed America, but that Nixon hadn't even been charged yet. They were just sort of ramping up in Congress to impeach him. And so that was highly unusual as well. But this is of a partisan nature and people who have been financially involved in the Trump administration. And that's vexing.
A CBS News review found some of the individuals who received pardons didn't undergo the traditional route of submitting pardon applications. How unique is that?
It's unique. I mean, certainly there have been exceptions in every case, but usually the pardon attorney's review, it's not only good for America, but it's good for the president. So again, we have this sort of unilateral action coming from the executive branch, but not even relying on the resources he has at hand. And it seems like it is a direct challenge to other branches of government. So it is, again, we have this Oval Office acting as if it is the entirety of government. It seems as if President Trump doesn't feel like there could be repercussions. So why would he need to vet this? But then again, we had tweets today from pardon attorneys who were highly partisan of nature and thought that it was a positive thing. We have former pardon attorneys who do not think so. And I tend to think that the precedent here, which has been strong for almost 250 years, is the way to go.
How does President Trump's current list of pardons and commutations, the totals, compared to previous presidents?
It's getting up there. Without something like the Civil War, or shall we say something like Carter, he, of course, with Vietnam draft dodgers, he gave blanket pardons. It's a really high number for this early in the term. And of course, it's hard to say, well, it's the most, it's unprecedented. When something has just happened, historians are careful a lot. But I would say that it's pretty safe to assume that this is, the numbers are quite a bit higher, certainly at this point in a presidency. This is a first.
Okay, Alexis Coe, thank you.
Thank you.